Hello, and thank you for joining me for a dose of virtual vitamin Z. My name is Sandy, and I'm an education specialist for the Detroit Zoological Society, where we celebrate and save wildlife every day. And today, in our episode of Monarch Mysteries, we are going to explore monarch butterfly wings. So as a little reminder, a monarch butterfly looks like this. You can tell it's a monarch butterfly because it has these black lines on its wings with orange spots and white dotting the outlines of it. So if we're looking at wings, monarch butterflies, they actually have 4 wings. They have 2 upper wings and 2 lower wings. So if you look at this butterfly that's here, these upper wings that are here, those are called their forewings. And these lower ones here are their hind wings. And they have 2 on each side, so that makes a total of 4. You can see in this video here, you can actually see the butterfly. If you watch really closely, you can see him move his wings. So we're going to watch real closely. Oh, so you can see those top wings moved. We'll actually back it up just a smidge so you can see it again. So if you watch very closely here, it moves. So those wings can move independently of each other. You can see here in this photo of this butterfly that the wings, they kind of overlap a little bit. The wings are made out of very thin, they're very thin and they're very flexible. They're also very fragile because they're so thin. They have to be flexible to help them to be able to fly as they catch the air. And you'll see, you actually can't see it in this photo, but I'll show it to you in another photo. They actually have veins in the wings that they use to kind of help the wings. So as a reminder, butterflies go through metamorphosis. They all start their lives off as an egg, and then they're caterpillars, and then they're chrysalises, and then they emerge as adult butterflies. And you can actually see here this butterfly is hanging upside down, and we're going to talk about that why in a moment. And then they're an adult butterfly. So they go through this big change in their life that's called metamorphosis. When a butterfly ecloses out of its chrysalis or emerges from its chrysalis, eclose is a fancy word for emerge out of its chrysalis, you can see that the butterfly's wings are kind of all crumpled up and they kind of look like a wet t-shirt. Well, they have to dry those wings. So if you think about like a wet t-shirt, you want it to dry, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to hang it up. So the butterfly actually holds on real tight to its chrysalis, and the gravity helps it pull the wings down. And the butterfly actually takes and pumps fluid out of its abdomen, and you can see its abdomen right here. So it pumps fluid out of its abdomen into its wings through those veins that I talked about earlier. And you can actually see really clearly this vein here. Their wings are made out of chitin, which is the same material that our nails and our hair are made out of. It's a very, very thin layer of it. And that layer of chitin is actually then covered by scales. So you can see here, this is kind of an up close look of a butterfly wing. It's really important to remember that butterflies, we want to leave them alone and we're going to look at them with our eyes. We're going to look up close at butterflies today that have actually passed away so that we can look at them closely and not hurt any butterflies that are alive. So you can see here, there's an up close look at a monarch butterfly wing. And if you look really close, you can see those veins that are in there. And you can also start to see the little tiny scales. So each one of those pictures, or each one of those tiny little bumps on there that kind of looks like a pixel, that's actually a scale. So these scales are on top of this chitin to help protect the chitin so that it doesn't get damaged. And it also provides the color for the butterfly. And this is a more close up picture of this butterfly. And you can see the scales have actually been disturbed right here. But they line up in all little tiny perfect rows. And the scales also aid in airflow. This is another up close picture as you get closer and closer of the scales. One of the cool things that I love about the scales is you can see the details. As you get closer and closer to these scales, you can actually start to see the lines that go along the scales. And you can also start to see some detail on the edge of the scales. Another important things that the scales do for the butterflies is that they help them stay warm. So if you think about when you wear if you wear a black t-shirt outside in the sun, it helps you get warm versus like white t-shirts, you aren't as warm. So the black color on the butterfly's wings actually helps them absorb some of that sun. And because butterflies are cold-blooded, they do need to get some of their heat from the sun. So the scales help the butterflies do that. And this is our final picture of an up-close butterfly wing. And you can see here that the scales are actually like curved on the butterfly wing, which is just so cool. Now it's really important to know that these scales are actually very, very fragile. And if you do ever touch a butterfly, you might notice that you get some dust on your fingers, and those are the scales that are coming off of the wings. So it's really important that you don't touch butterflies that are alive. If you do touch them, you may hurt them and they may not be able to fly because their scales have come off. So we're going to do an activity now about butterfly wings. And I want you to remember, how many wings does a butterfly have? We're going to come back to that. Think about that for a second. The supplies that we're going to need are some orange paint, black markers, 2 pieces of white paper, a piece of black paper, and a piece of construction paper a color of your choice. So what you are going to do is you're going to take orange paint and you're going to paint it onto your hand. And how many wings does a butterfly have? If you guessed 4, you're right. So if you need 4 handprints. So you're going to put orange paint on your hands and you're going to make a butterfly out of those handprints. And a colleague of mine made it with her daughters, and you can see those orange handprints. So 2 on top, because those are our 2 forewings, and 2 on the bottom, because those are our 2 hind wings. And then you can draw out the butterfly here for the background and then use some black construction paper for the middle part here. This is a really cool way to think about butterflies and thinking about the fact that they do have 4 wings, not just 2. So put to 4 handprints to make 1 big butterfly. Doing this activity in this lesson today, we went over some vocabulary. And the vocabulary we went over was chitin, which is that thin material that is made up out of the wings are made out of. Host plant, which is what the butterflies depend on to be able to carry out their life cycle. So milkweed for monarch butterflies, and you can see I have some milkweed behind me here. Eclose, which means to come out of their chrysalis. And metamorphosis, which is that big change that butterflies go through throughout their life cycle. And the skills and concepts we used today were asking questions and observations. Thanks so much for joining me for this dose of virtual vitamin Z. And if you'd like to see more virtual vitamin Z, go ahead and go over to the Detroit Zoo's website under education and online learning. Have a great day. Bye.